What is up, guys? It is Wolfman from Wolfman Rants 411. This story here is about trafficking, and there's a special little story about something that happened to me at the end of this video. I'd like you to stick around.
Warning, this video will contain triggers that can make you feel the subscribe button, angry, playful, upset, hungry, sleepy, thirsty, the like button, feeling the urge to use the bathroom or travel, laugh, cry, or share, and may not be suitable for all viewers. Listener discretion is advised.
Let's get started. Punch that like button. Thanks for sticking around for the intro. Have you ever wondered if a person that you have just walked by a short time ago was reaching out for help? Not many of us think that way normally, as we would like to think it doesn't happen in our area. However, the actual numbers of those in your area who are looking for a hand to help them would amaze you. And if you'd known what to look for, you might have been able to bring freedom to someone, or even save their life. According to state.gov, 17,000 young people are impacted every year when they're brought into the sex trafficking industry. 14,500 to 17,500 people are smuggled into the United States each year from a foreign country. And 200,000 people within our own country, good old USA, are kidnapped or moved into the industry each year. To give some stats, using the 2019 population model, there were 328.2 million people in America. This equates to 1 in every 1,641 Americans that are victims, or for each victim, there is multiple people involved that has moved or even used these victims. To give you an idea of the population difference between some of the other countries, America, as you know, has 328.2 million people, and there are 66.65 million people in the UK, and 83.02 million people in Germany. Just goes to show you, America's huge. Just using the statistics of the 200,000 per year, yes, that's 1 year's worth of stats, or 2 million in 10 years. But anyways, let me give you an example. And let's just say, for this example, that there was an issue that just started this year. Let's just say this was this year's issue. It never happened before. And keep in mind, this doesn't mean that just because Miami's numbers are what they are, that it's only that. As this is an average, and in fact, many smaller villages and towns and such just might not even have any at all, which, given that theory, it naturally drives the numbers up for these major players. Way higher. It should also be noted that by the numbers smuggled into America each year, these numbers are not spot on. There is an average of 1 in 1,641 people who walk the American soil have used, came in contact, know where a sex trafficked child or victim is, was, is, or helped conceal them in some way. And since 1 in 1,641 isn't a very large number, let me give you a few examples of what that looks like. Using the statistics of the 1 in 1,641, let's pick some cities from the report of best known cities for human trafficking, just to give you a better visual on what the 1,641 statistic is. Now, Washington, D.C. had a population of 684,000 people, not even a million, and they had 417 trafficked individuals. Atlanta has 498,000 people with 303 potential trafficked victims. Orlando had 285,000 with about 174 trafficked victims. Miami, with 470,000, would have had 287. Las Vegas, 644,000 with approximately 400. Los Angeles had 3,990,000 people, or 2,431 victims. What's more terrifying is, let's bump that up to only 10 years of the industry ever existing, and now you have 24,310 people who used or had acknowledged of a trafficked individual in Los Angeles. That's more than half of the capacity of the average baseball stadium, which is 42.672 based on Goshen.com. Even at the current stats, and since I'm no mathematical wizard, feel free to correct me in the comments down below. A stadium with a concert holding about 75,000 people could have 46 people that you walked by on your way to your seats who are victims, or when you're in line at the restrooms, or could have been in front of you or behind you, and they don't even know each other, yet each one of them is looking for help and too afraid to react. Now remember, we are still saying that this is 1 year's worth of statistics, and this has been going on for years and years. So let's bump that up to 10 years and say kids from the ages 8 to 18, just for the stadium example. And now that 75,000 seat stadium holding the concert of a lifetime now has 460 people, or approximately 1 in 163 that are looking for help. That doesn't seem too bad, right? Here's something else that's crazy. According to CNN, and for June of 2010, 12.3 million adults and children were forced into labor, bonded labor, or forced prostitution around the world. And of all of them, 4,166 trafficking prosecutions were successful in the previous year of 2009. In 2010, the State Department called the human trafficking, and I quote, one of the most profitable criminal industries in the world, alongside drugs and weapons, unquote. Isn't that crazy? If you or somebody that you've known has ever dealt with any issues like this before, please throw that down in the comments and give little ideas of how we could be better looking out for victims who are looking for help. Now, as promised, the story from me. When I was an Uber driver, I had went to a rundown area of Detroit for a pickup, and here's what I remember. It was around 10-ish in the morning when I pulled up to a little white house, and I waited. Normally, when you're an Uber driver, people are right there and ready to go. However, there was a little bit of a wait time. The two young girls walked out dressed kind of overly cute for maybe 10 years old. Maybe they have something to say, like, hold on, mom's coming. But their body language, I knew they were the ones going for a ride. And then they got in the car. Now, to say I didn't think anything would be a lie. I mean, it's kind of weird. Just looking at them, something wasn't right. But I didn't think anything of it. In fact, I did think it was kind of odd, since for a couple weekends that I did the service, it's been older people, 18 years old, college students, mainly people over 21 going to bars, restaurants, breakfasts, or just to the store. Anyone who rides with me knows that I'm one of them chatty Lyft Uber drivers that's kind of annoying, but you get in the car and we'll probably talk about your week or mine. Exciting things, or things that happened in our lives. Heck, I've even been asked what's some of the best and worst moments of my Uber driving experiences, or Lyft. However, these two young girls kept the chit-chat pretty minimal. I remember them telling me they were going to their friend's house to play. And as I got close to the stop a ways, as I got close, I was asked to stop a ways from the house that they were going to. This is good, let us out here, and we'll walk. Which is not something you normally hear. It gave me a weird feeling, and these girls together walked to the house and went in. I remember shaking my head a little as I felt something was wrong, but just then I got a message to proceed to move on to my next pickup. And you do see some pretty weird things when you're driving for these companies. After I waited for them to get to the house and walk in, just to make sure they're safe, I went on to my next ride. Not too long later, I was in the area and I got another pickup message. And generally you don't get the same people twice, especially in Detroit. It was a pickup message, oddly for the same place I dropped off the girls. Though I didn't realize until I saw them walking towards me, they came back to the car, smiled, got in, and they proceeded to talk with each other quietly as we headed back to the place I originally picked them up from. I remember saying something. Maybe it was, "Did you have fun?" or something. These girls seemed a bit off, but I took them back, told them to have a great day, and I dropped them off. As I sat there watching them walk back into their house, I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong with the situation. They didn't look like sisters, as one was white and the other one wasn't. They looked the same age and dressed sexy for their age. I guess you could say, and now that I've been studying human trafficking and sexual trafficking and exploitation, I'm about 95% certain that these girls had a job to do and returned when they were done. I know I didn't think about calling anyone at the time because I was naive to the idea that this could happen in broad daylight. And also I had no idea as to just how bad this is. It wasn't until months and months later that I thought about these girls and had such a strong feeling that I became scared for them. However, how could I even find them? However would I ever know where they are? I can't get my maps back. I don't have any information other than I think I had 2 kids in my car that I should have tried to help. Or at least see if they needed help. Time again has passed, and they're forgotten again until I was working on some research for this video. Now it's got me thinking about this again, and the point that I wanted to write this out, to help shed some light for others who might drive, and to come up with ways to help signal for these kids, are you safe? Do you need help? And to give you the ability to be able to have it in the forefront of your mind to try to help somebody in this situation. Now it's got me thinking about this again, to the point that I wanted to write this out, to help shed some light to others who might drive, and to come up with a way to help signal to these kids that you are a safe person, that you will help them. Let's come up with a system to help these kids. Maybe they get in the car and you have a button on your phone, they push okay or need help for minors. Now it's 2 or 3 years later and all I can do is hope that these kids are still alive and doing well. That might have been a little confusing, but that's my story of something I didn't think of at the time, of these kids going somewhere to play with their friends for about the time it took me to do 1 or 2 other delivery pickup jobs on Uber and Lyft to get called back over to that house again, which is odd. It gives me an unsettling feeling now, but then I didn't have no idea. Hopefully this will help you, and if this video has helped one person help a child, it was worth it. Till next time, my name is WolfmanRick. Peace. Child trafficking is real. Help stop this by being aware of your surroundings. If you suspect a child is being trafficked, you can call 24 hours a day to the Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. Again, that's 1-800-THE-LOST. If you end up forgetting, dial 911 for help. There's lots of people who are willing to help. Stay safe.